So dear students, let's continue with epistasis. We had mentioned about the dominant epistasis, and now I'm going to talk about recessive epistasis. As we all know, recessive epistasis is a condition in which a recessive gene is controlling the expression of a non-allelic gene. And this is a case of epistasis itself, and we can also see that the recessive epistasis can also sometimes be explained with the help of supplementary genes also. Now let me just talk about this example over here. If you consider horses, they could have a brown coat color which has been coded by a capital letter B, and it is dominant over the other coat color referred to as tan, and it is being coded by a recessive gene small letter b. However, how the gene is expressed in the phenotype is dependent upon the second gene that controls the deposition of the pigment in the hair. The dominant gene, capital letter C, will also code for the presence of a pigment in the hair, and whereas a recessive gene, small letter c, will code for the absence of the pigment. So, if you go to consider the coat color, though it is being coded by a B gene, the B gene is in turn influenced by another gene referred to as a C gene. If there is the presence of a C gene or a dominant gene C, the presence of pigment in the hair will occur. And the C gene is the one which is controlling the pigment in the hair. And if small letter C is being present, there is an absence of the pigment in the hair. And though the C gene is being controlling the presence of pigment in the hair of the horse, you can see that it is in turn also controlling the coat color of the horse. So if you're breeding two horses, okay, of the F1 generation, like which is having BB and capital letters C and small letter c, is being bred with another hybrid of capital letter B, small letter b, and capital letter C and small letter c, you can see that different types of gametes will be formed. And when you go to look into the horses in the F2 generation, you can see that there would be horses with the brown, as well as, that is, the brown coated ones would also be there, and there would be ones which are having intermediate colors, okay, and at the same time you could also have a tanned variety, as we mentioned over here, the small letter B as well, one also. So in this particular example, you can see that the total hybrid type of capital letter B, where dominant B is being expressed, in all these cases where the dark brown is being found, there is always a capital letter B, okay. And some cases you can see a capital letter B is there in some of them, but what happens, instead of having a dark brown, it is having a tanned one. So, in spite of the fact that the capital letter B, brown coat color, should be present, when the small letter C was present, the dark brown color was not being found in the horse. You can see this in the tanned one. Look at this example over here also. The capital letter B is over here, the dark brown color is not being obtained. Okay, and here also. So, we need to say that the expression of the capital letter B, though it has been dominant, it is being controlled by the expression of another a recessive gene called the small letter C. Okay, when the capital letter B is being present, and along with that, if capital letter C is present, okay, that is you get a dark brown. If you get a capital letter B with a small letter C, you do not get a dark brown color. Okay. So, the recessive allele CC of one gene locus is hiding the effect of the another gene here, capital letter BB or small letter bb or small letter bb, and itself it will express phenotypically. And we can see that the allele B locus is expressing itself only when the epistatic locus has a dominant allele. That is, instead of which is the epistatic gene over here, the C is the epistatic one. Only small letter c is when it has been present in small letter c only in such a case, what happens? It can suppress or alter the expression of capital letter B over here. So when this epistatic locus is having a dominant allele, only in such case the B locus is been expressing itself. And since a small letter gene, C allele or a recessive allele is affecting the effect of another gene here, we consider it to be as a recessive epistasis. Now, we'll just look into what is, I had told you that this recessive epistasis is also a case of supplementary genes. Now, what is a supplementary gene? These are two independent pair of genes interacting in such a manner that one dominant will produce its effect whether the other is present or not, and while the second one produces the effect only in the presence of the other. And also when the second dominant is added to the first, a new character is being formed. Now just have a look onto this. If you go to look in this example, you can hear the presence of this dark brown color is being present only when another allele, that is capital letter C, okay, a non-allelic version, okay, the allele of B is small letter b, okay, but the non-allelic gene capital letter C and capital letter B together are being interacting, or they are supplementing into each other, and only when they supplement with each other the dark brown color is being present. If they do not supplement with each other, that is, if the capital letter B, the effect of capital letter B and the effect of capital letter C is not being united together, you do not get the dark brown color over here. In all the dark brown horses which we consider here, the presence of capital letter B as well as capital letter C is being present. That means the dominant alleles of these two genes are being supplementing with their action to give the brown color of to the horse. And if you can see that if one of them is not being present, it will give another phenotype. You see here in the small letter B and capital letter C, you get a different phenotype over here. Okay, and when both of them are not being present, or when both the alleles of they are not supplementing each other, you get another phenotype over here, which is considered to be as a recessive tan type of versions. So in a supplementary gene, you consider two independent pair of genes which will interact so that one will remain dominant and produce its effect whether the other is present or not. So the capital letter B will produce its effect only if a capital letter C is being present. And the second one produces the effect only in the presence of the other. See, if you go to look here, the capital letter C, okay, the capital letter C can produce brown, only dark brown, only if capital letter B is not there. When capital letter B is not there, you get a different phenotype. So they are being found to supplementing the other. And when the second dominant is added to the first, a new character is being formed. I guess this is clear to you now. So this is a case of supplementary genes. So we learned about recessive epistasis, in which the small letter c is affecting or controlling the expression of another gene called the B, which is responsible for the coat color. And we also have a case of supplementary genes over here, where the capital letter B as well as the capital letter C will interact with each other and they will produce a particular phenotype. Okay, and there are two independent genes which are being interacting so that a dominant trait is being expressed. When either of them do not have a dominant trait, what happens? The dark brown color is not being found in the case of in the horses which we consider over here. So you came across a chance of recessive epistasis as well as a supplementary genes.